Springville man charged with assaulting his 11-month-old daughter returned to court to face charges today. News 4's Al Vaughters in the newsroom with an update tonight. Al.
Don, prosecutors have charged Antoine Jordan with 2 counts each of assaulting his 11-month-old daughter and endangering her welfare. Authorities claim Jordan abused the little girl earlier this month and she was taken to the hospital, but it seems no one suspected abuse. Then on Thanksgiving Day, she was back in the hospital. Antoine Jordan is accused of assaulting his 11-month-old daughter twice. The first time on November 9th when she was taken to Women and Children's Hospital bleeding from her head.
And the child bled from a hemorrhage in the skull so severely she required a transfusion and stayed in the hospital for 5 days.
The child was released back to the custody of her mother and Jordan, who live in this house in Springville. Detectives say they were not contacted because the staff at Women and Children's felt there was a chance a medical condition might have led to the bleeding. But 2 weeks later, the infant was back in the hospital, and this time police were called.
The injuries had to have been caused by blows from an adult. The injury to the right eye was so severe that it may eventually result in visual impairment or blindness in that eye.
Did the staff here at Women and Children's contact authorities following the first incident on November 9th? By law, they're required to report any cases of suspected abuse. Officials here at Women and Children's declined our request for an interview, but did send us this written statement saying they did what was necessary. But police weren't contacted, and it appears they didn't call the statewide child abuse hotline either, which would have been routinely forwarded to Erie County Child Protection Authorities.
There is no record that, in fact, this department that we received a call or anyone reached out to this department on November 9th.
Authorities say the baby's mother had returned to Western New York with her children after Jordan abused her in North Carolina.
This is how damaging domestic abuse and domestic violence is. Even if it's not violent, that emotional, psychological component is just as horrific.
Antoine Jordan waived his felony hearing in Springville Justice Court and is being held on $75,000 bail at the Erie County Holding Center. Prosecutors now have 45 days to take his case to a grand jury. Al Vaughters, News 4 at 5:30.